A god created humans and witches and tell witches to use magics to help humans for bringing peace to the humanity. The Radia Empire slowly started to kill witches because of their technology enhancement, and one of them is Chloe, who runs away with his human apprentice Adonis to the desert for crossing the border. Some of the Radia forces attacks to Chloe and Adonis, but Chloe easily defeated all of them. Suddenly a huge light comes from the sky and they both get teleported in front of the Radia palace where they met by Emperor Go. Chloe tries to fight but gets stripped in front of the public because she can't use her magic because of anti-magic device. Adonis tries to save Chloe by insulting them, but Chloe saves him by begging to go. Go shoots down Chloe, and after that she gets beheaded. Adonis gets into shock by seeing the cruelty of human world. The time passes to 10 years later in an internment camp where many prisoners are held. Daroka and Anna talking about that they think if all the witches will vanish then the human will live happily, but they again started to fight each other. The guards come to take prisoner number 218, which was Anna, but Daroka replaced the tag and she went on Anna's place. The guards take her to the chief where she runs away from him while taking his voice assistant, and she copied the voice and look of the chief and freed all the prisoners. Daroka runs into a chamber room. The guards try to stop the chamber from unlocking, but they failed, and the prisoner which was held into the prison was none other than Adonis. The guards get frightened by looking to Adonis. He breaks the prison and kills the guard, and also broke the handcuffs of Daroka. All guards started to chase Adonis, and Radia appoints Ekaut to kill the prisoners. He kills all the prisoners along with Chief. On the other hand, Adonis uses his magic and fire a huge bullet in a building. Adonis remembers his old memories with Chloe, and he uses his spell and casts a huge giant and sits on his arms and begins to destroy the city. Yamato orders to attack on Adonis with all the tanks and air troops. Yuki explained that the Adonis is using his magic to control the giants and says to use the anti-magic device. The tanks attacks to Adonis. He deflects all the attacks and summons a huge machine gun and kill all of them. The air troops arrive and shoot down Adonis. On the other hand, we see King, who was very sick, and he says he does not regret about what he did with the witches. Daroka runs to stop Adonis while saying humans are innocents. But Adonis gets angered. She says he knows Chloe and she does not want all that destruction that you are doing. She reveals herself as a witch and says she was desperate 10 years, so she runs away from the country. Adonis catches her neck and says don't lie to him. She says they can bring back Chloe by Adonis' memory. Adonis understands that she is telling the truth, but suddenly Ekaut shots down Daroka. We see a flashback of Daroka where human soldiers were destroying her city. She was saved by her friend Mia. She says to Daroka to run away and ask for help from Madame Ophelia. Back at the present, Daroka dies and the soldiers attacks on Adonis, but he deflects all the bullet and also send back the huge bullet of Ekaut towards him and kill him. Yamato orders Yuki to use anti-magic device, but Professor Theta stops her and says to Yamato that we can't use this device because in the past when we use this device it spreads the human cellular dysfunction disease and harm the nature, and if we again use the device it will happen again, and this time no witches are left to restore the nature. Yamato realized that the king is also affected by the device. Yuki suddenly runs towards the device and turn on she gets huge damage from the device. Theta says to Yamato to stop Adonis by using all his force. The soldiers attack on Adonis and one young lady soldier beheads him. Ghost speaks about the Adonis to the public. The chief Oz asks to Charmy about the Adonis. She says that the Adonis body is fake and we saw Adonis wakes up somewhere else. Adonis wakes up in a place where he was surrounded by many witches. Madame Ophelia brings back him to normal. Adonis remembers that Anna was the lady soldier who teleported him to the Madame Ophelia. Ophelia explains that he is in Nation of Witches, and also, they all know about the Chloe, but she was cast out because of teaching magics to a human. She shows that they are living on moon which called Lunamilia. Ophelia shows the tree that can give birth and regenerate witches. She says that if Adonis puts his memory into a fruit then they can revive Chloe. Ophelia says when you will ready, we will start the ceremony, and leaves. Anna arrives at tree. Adonis greets her for saving him. She gets angry and says you will not show anything for Daroka who dies for you. Adonis says that they save him because they want to use Chloe powers. A flashback shows where Daroka warned him about the witch's plan in which they will kidnap human and kids and teach them magic and use them as a defense. Adonis says that they want to use Adonis to revive Chloe because she can only make quills. Anna says if you know about the plan then helps us. Adonis says he will revive Chloe and will follow what Chloe says. All the witches and Ophelia gathers to start ritual. Adonis puts his memories of Chloe into the fruit and remembers the time he spent with Chloe. The ceremony is done and the witch born was Daroka. Adonis replaced his memory at the end from which Daroka was revived because he doesn't want Chloe to suffer in this world. Ophelia and the witches get upset because Adonis doesn't summon Chloe. Adonis reveals that he had the tracking chip from which humans will find this place, and he destroyed the chip and it exploded, from which Mito tree caught fire. Suddenly Yamato and other soldier arrives. Adonis fights with Yamato and the witches killed all the soldiers, but another group of soldiers come. At the Earth, Theta explains how the witches have hid themselves on the moon. Yamato fights with Adonis. He uses a witch Leigeri attack and cuts down many witches along with Ophelia, and the connection with Earth also disconnects. Anna saved Doroka by duplication magic, but Anna got killed. Adonis attacks with a huge sword on Yamato and cuts of his arm, but Yamato fight back and about to finish Adonis. At the Earth, the connection gets connected again, and Yamato says that they kill all the witches and they won. But it was Adonis who disguised himself as Yamato. A flashback is shown. Yamato attacks on Adonis with his sword, but Doroka stopped him by using her love spell magic. Doroka says to Yamato to end this war and live in peace. Yamato attacks on Doroka and starts to punch on her face. But Doroka gives Yamato a reality check that he has killed countless people and there is no need to do the same. Doroka again casts the love spell and Yamato starts to think about Yuki, and when he agrees to Doroka, Adonis stabs through his head and beheads him. On the capital palace, where an officer informs about Adonis and the witches, but Goth suddenly starts to acting strange and says he does all the thing only for Queen, and suddenly Queen used love spell on him and orders him to kill himself. He jumps off from the palace and impaled to death. Queen takes control on Soldier and he informs the control office that King has died by himself. Shirasagi arrives. Queen explains that her magic only controls men and it doesn't work on women, so now all the witches are dead. He can begin her plan. She reveals herself and her name is Dorothea, Greta witch who come from different multiverse. She wants to revive a red-haired man with the same look and quill like Adonis. On the Witch Kingdom, Adonis disguises himself by adding Yamato's skin on his face and calls to Theta and informs that he killed every witches and he solo survived, so teleport him back to the Earth. Theta understands that this is not Yamato. The teleportation starts and they escape from the moon, but on the Earth everyone is ready for them with guns. Soldier starts to fire, but Theta sees that there is nobody because Adonis changed his transfer location with Yamato phone. Adonis and Doroka is arrived in a wasteland. Adonis begins to plan how he will destroy the Radia Empire, and for which they need information and supplies. Doroka scolds Adonis for his behavior. Adonis says Chloe's life is more important than humanity, and he wants to destroy the world who takes her away. Adonis' injuries starts to bleed very fast. Suddenly a group of bikers find them. The next day Adonis wakes up and meet the leader Punch. Adonis sees a scrap town built on ship. Punch explains that the residents are people who were slaves who escaped from Radia. At the night the party starts, everyone enjoying the party, but slowly everyone falls asleep because Adonis adds something in liquor with his magic. He leaves Doroka behind because he don't want to end up like him. At the morning, Punch says that he knows Adonis because he and Chloe helped him in the past when he was dying. Punch explains that if Adonis chooses revenge then that is his choice. But Doroka don't wants to Adonis die alone, so he goes after him on the Punch motorcycle. She arrived at Adonis, but could not stop the bike. Adonis starts to travel with Doroka. At the Radia Empire, a tribute was given to Goth, and the new emperor who takes the place of Goth was announced, and it was Dorothea who becomes the empress. She used her love magic to gain popularity from the men. Some humans are watching the new empress ceremony and says this is the first time a witch becomes an empress of humans. Shirasagi is on the mission to find Adonis. He summons many hands to find Adonis. Doroka and Adonis are traveling on the bike. Adonis says that I want to take revenge, so don't interfere in my way. Doroka also agrees. They arrived at a sand land which was abandoned. They entered into an abandoned police station. Suddenly a policeman appears and welcomes them. Doroka gets scared by seeing that, but Adonis explained it as a normal hologram. They find a cell where a person was playing guitar. Doroka shouts very loudly, from which he gets scared. He asks what they are doing in such a ruined place. Adonis says they are just tourists, and Adonis starts to observe the cell. He sees a ring. They went out of the prison after having little conversation with prisoner. The prisoner informs them about a city which was in east. Doroka says that we should help him, but Adonis explains that the husband and wife don't need our help, they only need peace. At the prison, the prisoner awakes her dead wife and says to start singing again. Doroka and Adonis again start to travel.
If you like this video, make sure to like and share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel to never miss interesting anime like this, and also comment below to know the name of the anime.